Hi there, and welcome to our Photopea tutorial on doing your alphabet photo assignment. So, just a quick note before I get started on walking through the tutorial. If you are using HEIC photos taken from your iPhone, you will need to convert those to JPEGs first. Remember that I have a link posted on the classroom with a website where you can upload your HEIC files and then download them back to your computer as JPEGs. That out of the way, let's get started on creating your alphabet template. You're going to be going to photopea.com or Photopea or however you want to pronounce it, and you are going to be selecting Open from Computer. You should have downloaded your template from the classroom assignment, and then have it somewhere on your desktop. I've moved mine directly into my alphabet photos assignment folder. So I'm going to open up my alphabet template. It's a PSD file. Click Open. And what I'm going to get is this blank white template, but it does have a series of grid lines that I've placed on it so that all of your photos can be built uniformly. Now this is a really easy process. Next thing we're going to go and do is hit File, hit Open, and I'm going to select all of my JPEGs, make sure they're JPEGs, that I've shot for this photo assignment. Oh, I got one right up here as well. Okay, look, Open. I obviously don't have the full alphabet. I'm just using these as my examples. You will notice that if I click through on these tabs at the top, I can see what each one of these is. This one right here is the one I shot for A, using a couple of keyboarding stands. You're going to want to make sure you have your Move tool selected, have the Auto Select option unchecked, and the Transform controls selected. Now this is very important, and this is where people get confused. You're going to click really anywhere on here is fine, but I usually use the top left-hand corner of the image. I click in and hold. You can see that I can move the image around. I'm clicking and holding, and I'm going to drag it up and then hold it over the alphabet template tab until my alphabet template appears. Remember, to zoom out is spacebar option, and you can click, or spacebar alt on a Chromebook to click to zoom out. To zoom in is spacebar command and click. So I'm going to zoom out until I have a good view of this. I'm going to move it down. Holding down the Shift key, I will select one of the corners and drag while holding that Shift key to make sure that it retains its correct size. I'm going to zoom in here, spacebar command or spacebar control. I'm going to drop it right in there. That's where the A goes. And holding down the Shift key, once again, I'll hold down the Shift key till it snaps into place. I'll let go of my mouse click and then let go of my Shift key. If I go back here, this is the image I just used. No longer needed anymore. Let's hit X on that one. I'm going to find the B image I took. So this one's a good example of something that might need a little bit of cropping or a little bit extra work. So same thing, making sure I'm still using my Move tool. I click, drag over, and hold over alphabet template until it switches. I'm going to zoom out, and then holding Shift, I will resize this image. So this is a good place for possibly putting in an extra image because this B that I'm making is going to be a little bit smaller. If you put your mouse pointer just outside the image when you have it selected, you'll see the little corner arrow thing show up. That means we can rotate it. Once again, holding Shift so that it sticks to sort of set vertices. We're going to rotate it to the side there. Now, I might want to do a little work on this later, but that still has a nice B shape, so I'm going to leave that there. Going back, looking through till I find it, no longer need this one. Here's my C. Once again, making sure my Move tool selected, click and drag, hold, drop, and then Shift key while resizing from the corners. So A, B, and C. Close that one. Here's D, click, drag, hold, and resize. Okay. As I resize here, remember that spacebar allows you to move around. Hold down spacebar and click and drag to move around your canvas. We got a couple of shots here where we might actually have a little bit of extra information on the side, which is a perfect opportunity to show you a little bit about how you might choose to modify these slightly. So I'm going to grab the E right here. I'm going to click and drag it over top, drag it in, resize, drag it up here like this, holding the shift key, resize, and I'm going to drop the E in right like that. Okay. If there's ever a point where you feel like maybe you've taken a shot and it doesn't quite work as far as the cropping or whatever, so in this case, let's go with this one right here. If I double click, I can rename them, which is really nice. Double click A, B, and E. Okay, I'm going to zoom out. So say I felt like my C was, for some reason, not cropped properly. And I wanted to change it up a little bit. Let's just move it down here for the sake of demonstration. So I'm going to make it a little bit larger. So say I wanted to crop just this part right here. So I just wanted this right here as my image, whatever's within this box. Quick and easy way to crop down images that aren't the right size or are the wrong dimensions is to use the rectangular selection tool. You can just click and drag kind of past, and you drag a box over, it'll snap to the grid and select the area outside of what you're wanting to crop. So basically what you want to delete. You can hit delete. You can go here, delete. Notice I'm just clicking and dragging and then using these guides as a way to form my the boundaries of this image. There we go. It's deleted. Once you've deleted everything, you'll still notice that you have this little dotted line selection box, and you do want to get rid of it. It's very important that you do get rid of that. In order to get rid of it, you can simply hit Command D, and that will get rid of the box. It's Command D for deselect. Go back to our Move tool, and we'll drop this back in here with a slightly different crop. The original worked fine too, but I'm just showing you how to crop them. And you're just going to continue doing that until you have all 26 letters. You will notice, however, that this is a 5x5 document, which means that you will have to have one row that has 6 letters. So I'm going to do the last part of this tutorial to show you how to do that. It's really easy. Instead of selecting individual layers and moving them all at once, you can actually select multiple layers at once and treat them as a single object with the transform tool. So if we let's add one more. I know W does not come after E, but we're going to use it for the sake. I'm going to click and drag it in, and we're going to resize it. So make sure that it fits within the, okay. So we're going to pretend this is F. So technically this would be the 6-letter row. I can simply click on the first, hold down Shift, select them all here. All these layers have now been selected. You'll notice the bounding box encompasses them all. So I can actually just grab here on the side, and I can drag this in and resize them all slightly to make them a little bit smaller. So that's one option of doing it. The other option is simply to go through and select them a little bit more individually, and I can go in here and I can say, okay, well, B is pretty tight. C is above it, it will overlap it, so we'll just, bring C in there. D should be right here, so D, that'll line up nicely there. E, it's beneath this background layer. E can probably come in here, and then we'll bring this last letter in, maybe right about there. And then we can actually then select them all, and then we don't have quite as much of a squish because we've already done some cropping there with the B and the D a little bit better. So that's how you would go about doing your alphabet alphabet layout, make sure to file save as PSD and keep this save PSD for your documents. But I also want you to go file export as JPEG, save, and then that JPEG will be what you upload to the classroom and hand in.